All right, what's up, everybody? RPM with you here. Day Trading Radio's Trader Spotlight Live, and we're getting started just a little bit late here. We got Cousin Vinny on here for us. First, let me just say welcome to everybody in the chat room, everyone, all the new members, all the new visitors and listeners that we've had in the last couple of weeks. Of course, today is October 27th, 2011, Thursday, and it's right here about 10 minutes till 10 o'clock. What's up, Cousin Vinny? How you doing, man?
Everything's cool. Everybody's healthy. It's been raining here, but other than that, everything's fine. So.
Yeah, I see that rain coming across the radar, coming this way. So I wanted to have you on again. We get a lot of requests, of course, and for you coming on the show, and you're probably number one requested guest, and want to thank you ahead of time, for doing this with us. And today, man, what a crazy market, man. I mean, absolutely just crazy today. I saw you in the chat room, and this is one of the reasons why I wanted to have you on, is because I saw you in the chat room, posting fibs and numbers, that you had in mind. Even early on in the day, you were posting those fibs. And the day was so strong, man. It was scary to me because I was thinking about all the shorts bursting into flames. But, as it got to the end, I think people were just giving up and saying the hell with it. And it just kept going higher. And I saw you posting, 1288s and 1288 half.
1288.
Yeah, sure enough, man. Sure enough, that was the first sign of real relief from the rally, and we had a pullback from there. And
I'm going to cover that. It's going to be pretty obvious when people see what I'm looking at before I go into the trading day. So.
Cool. Let's go ahead and let's get started then. Whatever you want to talk about.
Okay. Well, first off, for you guys who don't know me, I've been trading since 1987. So I've been doing this for a while, and I met Johnny online, much like most of you did, about 3 years ago, and the rest is history. I really enjoy trading with you guys and gals, and I hope that I add some value, and that's the whole reason why I'm here, why I'm in the chat. I mean, I could sit there and trade during the day while I'm working and not add any value to anybody's life, but I'd like to pay it forward, so that's basically why I do what I do. All right? So that said, this is a chart of the ES. That'll come up on your screen here shortly. And what I do every day is, by the way, this is NinjaTrader. You can download this for free. Okay? You can use end-of-day data for free as well, and do the same thing that will be recorded in this session. And you can follow along with how I set my targets for the day. Okay. I trade a lot of spiders and SDS, SPXU, and so forth. I don't particularly care to trade ES. I mean, I have, and I can. But the reason why I choose the ES chart and trade spiders is because I'm looking at a longer or a wider range and a longer time frame. So with that said, this is the daily chart, and what I typically do is I'll start with the fibs after looking at the chart. And prior to today, that was your cat?
Yeah, he's hungry. He hasn't had his 12 pounds of food today yet.
If you can imagine, prior to today, we saw these three candles here. Okay. Mm-hmm. And what I did was, going into today, is I just started with a fib off of this high up here. And
I'll be right back and let him out.
And set those fibs for me. So I could see the levels. Actually, I think I used this one here. Yeah, I used this high here. And I got the 1288 level. So right off the bat, for my daily, this is what I did. Okay? So you can see 1288.22, 1288.25. That was basically what I was posting in the room all day today. So as we saw this run up, I was just saying RPM, this is where my target came from off of this pivot high in July. All right. Now, obviously, I could have chose this pivot high,
Yeah.
which is what I think Dave was looking at. He used, I think, 1284, or maybe it was Big Wave. He used, I think, Big Wave. NC was 1285, I believe.
Not a whole heck of a lot of difference in those two areas there.
Now, what I want to point out is after today's run-up, notice where we closed.
Yeah.
Off of that fib. Dead on.
That's amazing.
So the reason why these work, obviously, is because, one, a lot of traders use it, and two, so do black boxes. Okay, they use patterns, trend lines, stochastics, Fibonacci's, and various other things, whatever is programmed into them. So that's why I use the fibs. Now, the other thing I do is I'll put together confluences where you have this longer range Fibonacci, and I'll plot a short range Fibonacci for, well, I would be looking at, let me move this over here. I would have been looking at yesterday's high. Okay. You see what I did there?
Yep.
I went to this high. This candle, actually, it was yesterday's, was this candle, but I was looking at the previous high, all right, going into today. So I just took these as my targets, and I was looking at the 127 as a possible, if we broke through this level today. Rather, if we broke through this, the possibility was this candle could go all the way up to the 127 level.
Right.
You guys following that? All right, I'm taking this low to this high, this pivot high right here, even though this candle was yesterday.
Yep.
All right, I'm using this pivot high. And I'm setting a target that if we traded through this particular high right here, that red candle, that we could possibly trade up to the 127 level.
Yep, 1304.
1304, okay. But my initial target was the 1288 level, which was off of this right here, okay. So that's what I was looking at. Now, obviously, you say, okay, well, why are you using this particular pivot high? Why are you using this particular pivot high? We're talking, a couple of points here. I just happen to use that because I've been using this particular level all during this run-up when I was using it as a reference point. So I didn't want to confuse the issue by using this, a different level over here. Okay. I was using this level when we were back here, but at this point,
I mean, we had, what, a 30-point move today. I think you're within a point and a half or so. I think it's pretty darn good, Either one of those levels was so, yeah.
So anyway, that's why I was using 1288, okay. And the other confluence lines came into play as well. It could. Tomorrow, obviously, we could move up.
Get a little more,
and get a little more. But, okay, this is the other thing that I do. All right, so today I went into this, and I'm not just looking at Fibonacci's, obviously. I'm also looking at patterns. I'm looking at levels. All right, so we're looking at that. Did you
find a pattern? Yeah, today I could not. I mean, I was lost when we were just running up. I mean, I was glad to see it, but I didn't see any patterns really, I didn't see any longer term trend lines. I mean, it was like once we got to a certain point, I felt like we were just, it was like somebody just let go of a hot air balloon, like a helium balloon. And then I guess everybody, the next target had to be one of those, that fib. I mean, that's the way I was looking at it,
Well, what I was looking at was these three candles right here, okay? I mean, up until today, we ran up, we tested, let me get rid of this.
Okay.
Going into today, we had this pivot low to this pivot high, okay? And what I was looking at was the possibility that we could retrace to the 236. You see that?
Uh-huh.
Okay, previous to today, I felt we could either go down, obviously, and turn back over, or we could bounce and go high and go up to this 127 level. All right? So what I started looking at was prior to today's candle. Let me move this over. I was looking at the previous head and shoulders,
Yeah.
and I was also looking at this area here, okay, where we had some support that became resistance, support, okay.
Yeah.
And notice that we came right up and touched that line.
Right.
So there's resistance
again.
So I'm going to leave this line on this chart for tomorrow because I want to make sure that I use this as a reference point. Okay, so tomorrow I'll be looking at this level. Okay, and the possibility is we roll back over, or we either consolidate, or we move higher.
And look where that 1351 is. It's pretty much the top over there where we had in July.
Right. So you're absolutely right. I mean, you have to look at, not only do you have to look at the fibs and patterns, but you have to look at market structure that was created before, because you want to look left and see what you're playing up against, right?
Yep. And that makes sense because you drew your first fib off of that as well, so we're going back the other direction.
Right. We keep using this as a reference point, so that's what I would normally do. All right. So that's just using the ES and what my targets tomorrow will be. I'm personally looking for either a doji, because it's a Friday. I'm looking for not that big a range. If we don't have a doji, then maybe a candle headed down, in which case we may have a shooting star, or a candle up, which we could trade up into this range up here. All right. I don't think we'll get to 1351. I think it's just a little too soon for that, but you never know. All right. So that's just what I'm looking at right now. Now, I'd also go to.
That was one of the tallest green candles, daily candles that we've had in a long time.
So what I'll also do is I'll go to a 4-hour chart. All right. And this is a spiders, and you guys have been seeing me trade spiders quite a bit, which, like I said before, this is what I choose to trade because I'm trading a longer time frame. All right. Now, what I want you to notice is a few things. One, the Bollinger Bands. Can you guys see that? The Bollinger Bands, or are they too light? I can bring these up. Okay.
They're there. They're not too bad. And this is free stock charts for those out there that haven't seen Cousin Vinny's education videos. He's using freestockcharts.com. And
it's so now you can see the Bollinger Bands a little better.
Yeah, Silverlight based platform. It's all web based and everything. Very powerful. Yeah, that's even better shaded. I like that.
Okay, so I'm also looking at, I have enabled over here what's called volume at price, these bars at the left. Okay, these larger bars tend to act as resistance when you're below it, and as support when you're above it. And the reason why I use that is because a trader that I follow pointed out some things that has made me a better trader when I started using them. Okay, I can't mention his name, but in essence, when price gets above these levels, it tends to suck the price up into the direction of the next level of resistance. Okay, if I zoom out a little bit on this, you can start to see where these areas start to come in. All right, up here. And if you go out further, you can start to see that we have a resistance level up here that I'm looking at. And lo and behold, is right where we ticked today and started to move lower. All right, so computers are looking at this, other traders are looking at this, so there's no reason why you shouldn't pay attention to them, because they're important levels. All right. So now that we've traded up into this area of volume at price, there's a lack of resistance to price moving up when you were talking about these last 2 months, okay? Because we had that move down, which makes sense. we have that move down from July to August, and basically we went through these prices without much volume being created. If you visualize this area here, okay, you can see where the volume at price is. I mean, this is where most of the action is. That's why it makes sense why this would be the larger bars. Okay, so going back to Fibonacci's and patterns, obviously I use a lot of the same things that Johnny uses in his trades. Okay, patterns where you have a breakout of a level. Since that's been surpassed, I'm looking at a trend up here, which, as we all know, tends to break to the downside at some point in time. All right, an ascending channel, ascending wedge, whatever. So typically, this is the scenario I'll go through in the mornings before I start to trade. I look at the charts, I look at where this upper trend line is. What's the possibility we may test this upper trend line? Where are the Fibonacci levels on the ES? And then I'll plot them on the spiders as well. And since I'm referencing those highs on the ES and also the low on the spiders here for my fibs, let me get rid of this. This is what I've been using for my fibs on the spiders. I haven't changed anything. I notice that the 127 extension is up here, okay, above this volume at price. Again, lack of resistance here, so there's a possibility we could continue up, but Bollinger Bands are expanding. If you see those, okay, you can see that we're right, but we're outside of the Bollinger Band now, and I'm using the 22. All right. So I'm expecting this to come back into the Bollinger Bands, although it doesn't have to happen tomorrow. Again, this is a 4-hour chart, so let me go back out to the daily. And let's look at a shorter time frame. Today you were mentioning Bollinger Bands.
Yeah, I've been watching a lot.
You were talking right about here.
Yep.
Actually, you know what? Let me go to the 1 minute, because that's what we were talking about. You were looking at the 1 minute, right?
I was looking at all types of
you were
time
talking
frames.
Right about here, 1:30 or so.
It may have been back before then.
Actually, you know, you're right, because it was before I went to the gym.
Yeah, I think it was right there before the S on the SPY watermark, somewhere along in there, or either there or the Y. Yeah, I think it was right there. I remember because it dipped down, and I thought it was going to go lower, and wound up breaking to the upside eventually.
Okay. Yeah, there we are. Okay. So we touched the upper Bollinger Band, and obviously when we squeeze, we know we're either going to go up. We have a consolidation period where volatility is lower, and we're going to either make a move up or a move down, according to the rules of Bollinger Bands. So we obviously moved a little bit down, which wasn't surprising because we're at the lunch hour, okay? And then we moved higher, okay? There was really nothing here for me to trade off of because I was still watching the 1288 level, which coincided with the 129 level on the spider. So I was trading the spider 120s. I took 3/4 off at the open this morning because I just wanted to make sure I had a profit and just watch this thing run the rest of the day. So I kept a quarter off on, and I took those off towards the end of the day. And Casino Joe says he's got a gap play ready to roll. What is it, Casino Joe? Maybe we can cover it here. 30 minute. All right, so I covered spiders.
So you're playing the ETFs then, instead of playing the ES. You're using the SPXUs and the UPROs, the SDS
spiders. Right now, I've been using the spiders and the SDS, which leads to another point. You have to know what kind of market you're trading in.
Yeah.
Currently, we're seeing these wild-ass swings up and down, 20, 30 handles,
Mm-hmm.
Some days it's just 10 handles, but you can have that happen in a matter of an hour,
Yep.
I saw some people tweeting that the ES was trading, or you just got your 10 handle down move. Now you can expect a 10 handle up move, right?
Yeah.
And you could see the professional money coming in today, and just watch this thing take off. Let me look at this from a 15-minute standpoint. You know what? Let me go to TOS and zoom out a little bit.
I had actually bought some SPXU right around when the ES was at about the 85 level, and did pretty good on it, and took it off a little early when we were on our way. When we had that final pullback towards the end.
Right. There was a lot of people in the trading room or on Twitter that were saying, okay, we got this move up. We're probably going to get a move down, and they traded this thing short. And after 10 handles, what's this? 73, was 60. All right, you got your 10 handle down move. There were people jumping in to the ES, watching this thing go back in the other direction. So it was a really nice experience watching that happen. So, but I didn't want to jump in there personally.
Crazy and volatile, just amazing market today. It was almost like somebody had just let go of a balloon string this morning, and it just kept going up and up. I mean, it was.
Yep.
It was
one of the things.
Crazy.
Go ahead.
No,
one of the things
amazing.
they traded today was Zion Bancorp. Okay, and what I've been looking at is this low. Okay, I've kept this on my charts because this is what I've been using. And notice the volume at price here. Okay,
is that also known as VWAP?
The volume at price?
Yeah, VWAP, VWAP. Is that what people are calling it?
I think VWAP is an actual line, though, right? A moving average.
I keep
VWAP.
hearing it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
This is kind of the same thing. No, it's not. Yes. I thought it was based off of the volume at the price. Okay. And if you have a larger volume at price above you, VWAP would normally be above you too. I thought. Yeah, VWAP's a line. I understand that. But it's similar in the concept.
So this is volume, but instead of it on a timeline scale, it's on a price line scale.
Right. So how much volume is traded
in that price range?
In this price range right here.
Yep.
Okay. You can see it. You can just see the price banging around in here.
Yep.
Right. And when it gets above this level, the next level is much smaller. So it makes sense that this thing could move higher faster when there's little volume to deal with. Okay. So.
Right. So it tells you a lot it has a lot to do not only with how many shares are in and out during that time period, but it also indicates how long the stock spent in that range, which would kind of indicate some consolidation area, right?
That plus it also indicates some resistance or support depending on where you are. And notice,
basically a fight between the bulls and bears in there.
Notice that this level here, okay, this is what I've been watching on Zion. Okay, notice that today when we traded up above that, how quickly we started moving in the other direction. We started moving up. All right, here's the 127 extension up here at the 100 period moving average, and price really started moving. Of course, the market killed it as well, so that also pulled everything else up with it. But we had 3 days ago, prior to earnings, we had a nice move up, and I expected this to continue higher. A mistake on my part. Before I went into Zion, I should have checked to see that earnings were actually that evening when I took the trade. So I'm not perfect, but the fact that I had good feeling, not a good feeling, a good read on the charts, I felt that this would indicate that the price is going to continue to move up. So these are the things that I look at. It's not perfect, but it's what other traders use. It's also what computer programs use. So it's the reason why a lot of these things work. Okay. So that's covering Fibonacci's on volume at price and Fibonacci's on Zion. You can see the 127 levels above the 100 period moving average right here. That's my target for tomorrow. Okay. If we hit this and we hesitate, I may take some off, probably about half a position. I fully expect that because of this lack of resistance up here at the 1618, that we're going to see that that area, which is why I have this upper target range listed.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's a reminder to me every day. This is what I looked at, and also the 200 period moving average is up here too. So, okay. The other thing about the ES, which is one of the things that I want to keep in mind, and other people that we're mentioning in the room, is that the other reason why I'm not expecting this to move much higher.
Benny, a little psyched we got pumped up to here. Hold on a minute. Here we go. We're working again. I don't know what that's all about. I got 100%. Let's see. CPU 16. Perfect streaming. I don't see any blips, but that's kind of weird.
Okay.
I don't know what it is. Live stream at night, man. Certain days, certain nights, it just does it to Johnny certain times during the day. Mm-hmm. Sorry about that, guys. Hopefully we're back with you. The recording will be complete. You didn't miss much.
The other thing is, let me remove this and go back to what we had before. All right. The other thing that I'm looking at as far as the 786, I mean, the fact we got to the 618 tells you we had a lot of strength. Obviously, it's news-driven, liquidity-driven. I mean, you got the central banks at work. You got a whole lot of things going on. But I don't trust this move. I just know that something's going to happen tomorrow or the next day or over the weekend that is going to postpone this continuation. Maybe it doesn't happen. I don't know. But that's what I'm expecting. That's why I'm pretty much out of most of my position. Actually, I'm all out of spiders, but I do have some SDS that we added today on the way up on this. Got in a little early, but I still have confidence that we may see some hesitation tomorrow. And what I'm looking at for tomorrow is, like I mentioned before, is this level here. If we come down to the 1238 level tomorrow, or somewhere in between this, I'm probably going to take some of that SDS, the puts off. Okay. Excuse me. What am I trading here? That would be the calls. All right. So I took the puts off this morning. I'm looking for this to move back down into this candle. You hear Johnny mention this a lot of times. When you get a big candle like this, a lot of times you'll see a move back down into this candle. If we get that tomorrow, I'm going to take at least half of my position off, because I feel like we will be correct partially.
You don't think we'll gap up a little bit higher maybe by tomorrow morning, just because of some of the the momentum from today?
Well, see, that's one of the things why I use fibs. I try to stop saying to myself, I feel like this is going to happen. I feel like that's going to happen. Yeah. Instead, I try to focus on the charts and say, all right, well, we got this huge candle. All right. I try to read the candles and say, okay, well, we pulled back off this candle. Maybe that's just profit taking. That's probably what that was. But this is a huge momentum move. So is it possible we continue up? Yeah, it's possible. But what I'll be watching for is at the open what the market's going to do. A lot of people took, as Michael Freeman's saying in there, a lot of people took profits. Obviously, a huge run up. They don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. What's going to happen overnight. What's happening right now. So we're moving up. Wait a minute. Okay, I was a little bit. Okay, so we're actually moving down.
Yeah, we're still way up there. I mean, still way, way, way. I mean, we're still holding up pretty nicely in grand scheme of things compared to what happened today.
So we're at 1280, 1279. All right. So yeah, we're backing off a little bit. I would expect a little bit. The Asian markets are open and not much going on over there, obviously. It's tomorrow. It's Friday already over there. Okay, cool. So what was I thinking? I was thinking about, will we gap up or gap down? Well, the further we get up here, actually, RPM, the more hesitant I am. Obviously, what you have to look at going into tomorrow, you obviously wouldn't take a new long tomorrow. Yeah. At least I would, because the risk reward is getting slimmer to the upside.
Oh yeah,
I agree. Risk reward to the downside is better.
It's better,
in my opinion, at this point in time.
Look at those large candles that we started having when we started to bounce back in August. Yeah, right there where your mouse just was.
That's a good point.
It was kind of like started like sort of like a big bear flag. We had a huge down candle, which was very close to, actually a little larger than the candle we just printed today. And we had a green candle that was even larger than the, and then we had another, red candle down. I'm talking about down below, down there, right where your mouse is now. Those candles there.
This is what I'm looking at. Okay, I'm looking for a move like this.
Yeah.
Look where that ends up, right at the 127 extension.
Yeah, I was thinking.
All right. Yeah. That move down that we had July, August. I'm looking for this to happen here.
Yeah.
Eventually.
That seems crazy to people, but look at what this run we've just recently had. Look at the previous run we had earlier. I mean,
but watch this. Watch this. Okay. Yeah. So here's the channel line.
Just bottom channel, same deal. Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
I mean, it's not exact, but this is the type of things I start to look at.
Yeah.
And what's the possibility this type of thing happens? This is a little bit below this area, but it's not. I mean, the pattern's there. That's the way Johnny teaches it.
Man, I know it looks crazy, but look what we've been through in the last couple of months. It has been some wicked, wild moves. I mean, market hasn't.
Well, look, we've been in.
I know it's just a insane, ripper, man. I mean,
1068 all the way up to 1290. I mean, 1288.
With like three tiny days of pullback in there.
Mm-hmm. So the point is that, like we were saying just now, I stopped telling myself what I think is going to happen, and I just look at the charts and say, what's the probability that we get up to 127? What's the probability that we move a little higher? What's the probability we move lower?
Yeah.
Well, the markets tend to suck in the most people just when you think you're getting giddy and bullish. Something happens and the market's moving the other direction. I'm not saying it's going back down here, but I'm saying it's a possibility. And the risk reward right now is to the downside, in my opinion, because I'm long already. Why would I continue to add longs? I wouldn't. I'm taking longs off.
Yeah.
As we move up.
And a drop down tomorrow that pretty much equaled what we gained today would be completely consistent with the huge daily bull flag if one started to build right there. I mean, you could look at so many different ways. I mean, it doesn't necessarily mean it's all, this run is all over, and so much for that. That's what happens,
Well, you see, the other thing that plays into this, no, you're absolutely right. But I keep thinking to myself what Big Wave keeps posting in the room. I mean, is the Euro thing all over with now because all these people agreed? Is it really over? I don't think so. In my mind, it's not,
I don't think
sure,
so
maybe if everybody agrees and the Greeks, are okay with a 50% haircut on their bonds or whatever it is that they're taking a 50% haircut on, and the European Union, the central banks continue to add liquidity, their QE response, maybe it continues to go higher. But I just think think about what happened when we started back when the Lehman crisis started, and it seems like it's just starting over there with those guys, right?
Yeah. Hey, so who was it that posted a chart? It was like at the end of 2011, almost identical pattern to what we have now. I saw somebody post something in the room.
2007, you mean?
No, I think it was 2010. I mean,
Yeah, I think it was KJ, wasn't it? Today in the room.
yeah,
I think Coder's
I
alluding
thought,
to that right now.
yeah, I thought we were looking at the, I thought we were looking at the current daily chart, and we were looking at 2010. Can you go back real quick to 2010, the end of fourth quarter of 2010?
Let's go weekly. Right here. Just move down, move up.
Yeah, I guess. Maybe
It looks similar.
Maybe it was.
It looks similar. You got that move down?
Yep.
That's 2009.
Maybe it wasn't 2010. Maybe it was. Oh, here it is, right here. Content. Here's Coder. Put it in the chat room. Crap! I can't click on it on this computer. Oh, it was in 08? Is that when it was?
Yeah, this is 2008 right here.
Yeah. Okay. Maybe was that the one? Yes, it was.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's the same.
Yeah, that's the other thing. When you look at,
I was looking at that was the chart though. I was looking at somebody else's.
Mm-hmm. I was looking at. I posted a video. I don't know, a couple of weeks ago, I guess, on the. What happened here? On the possibility that we could build a bear trap here. Okay.
Now, can you explain what your definition is of a bear trap?
Well, you got me on the spot here. My feeling was that we were going to. There was a lot of bears in this area right here.
Yep.
That we're looking at this as a rollover.
Yep.
Okay. So they continue to get short, and as they continue to cover, we continue to see this move up. I think what happened today is the reverse of a capitulation to the downside. We got a capitulation to the upside, and all the shorts covered.
And a lot of people went long thinking, I can't miss this, I want to be part of it, and went long.
Yep, they chased it up. Yeah, and then, so that's the way I looked at it as far as a bear trap. More and more bears thinking, okay, let me keep adding, keep adding. And this thing keeps going against them, and eventually they have to cover. And we ran right up to the 50, which is this blue line right here, right at this white line. That's the 50. And I was looking for that to hit, and then it rolled back over. Well, we exceeded that. I was also looking at, you see this low right here? You'll have to catch up with me.
Yep.
I'm pointing at right here?
Yep.
Okay. This is very similar to what happened back in 2006. You see that low right there? And we came down and we almost touched it, and we ran back up to the 50 period, which is hard to see, but that occurred again. So that's why I was looking at this possibly running back up to the 50. Well, we've surpassed that at this point. So I keep saying I hope I'm not bugging everybody by doing that. It bugs me when I hear people say
we all do it. I got on myself about it, and then I listen to Johnny's broadcast, and I hear it a lot.
Yeah, Johnny's funny. His famous one is, and again, he uses the word again a lot. It cracks me up when I hear that. There's somebody that was in the chat there for a while. It was actually getting, it was getting to them. I said, well, you know what? You don't have to be a member if it really bothers you that much. So I just chuckle every once in a while. So that's the S&P weekly, and we looked at that chart. Did we cover what? The 2011 top. Yeah, we got that, right? Yeah, see, that's basically the same thing I just was showing there on the ES, that there's a possibility that we could... Oops.
Man, if
we could see the move, that move down that we were showing before.
If we do the whole 2008, 2007, 2008 thing again, that would just be like deja vu, man. It was you who were calling it deja vu. I remember you said deja vu when was it you that posted something, or was this the same?
Yeah, that was me. That was actually...
it was a different chart, though.
It was Stock Sage. I'll show you what that is.
Okay. If you guys have just joined us, I'm RPM, and we've got Cousin Vinny on here from Day Trading Radio. He's been a member for a regular while, and he's always contributing in the chat room, and he's been on several trader spotlights. And of course, you're watching and listening on Day Trading Radio. And we're about an hour into this thing, a little less than an hour into this thing, about 10:30 here, Eastern Time.
Yeah, this guy's really good. Somebody I follow. Very well respected. This is it right here.
That's exactly what I saw. Yep.
Okay, but what he was showing was the 200 period, and the last time we blew through the 200 period like we did today was back in September 2010, right? So, and there you see what happened. This is October. We blew through the 200 right here.
Yeah.
So, the 50-day. On the first attempt, it never looks back. 13 points above the 200-day SMA on his first attempt. There we go. So he's looking at the possibility we could actually continue higher. Look at the RSI. It's starting to head higher too.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's possible we continue higher. I mean, in some respects, why fight? Why fight this trend? All right. It could prove a lot of shorts wrong, and they continue to cover, and who knows? But I'm not going to think what's going to happen. I want to see another candle tomorrow to tell me what's going to happen. So that's the difference between the way I might trade and the way someone that's new at trading, they'll get all excited that we had such an update today, and they'll buy tomorrow at the open, or they bought at the end of the day thinking, oh, I missed this run, and we turn back over. Or we get a doji or something, or a hesitation, which isn't the end of the world. We could get several dojis, and that could be a bull flag building, like you mentioned.
Yep.
Right?
Yep. 200-300 point Dow days, one after the other, opposite directions to build a beautiful bull flag.
Right. So, Kaneko gave me a good compliment last night. Said Kaneko, sorry, that always tend to call the market, turns. Well, I'm not really calling them. It's actually the fibs that are telling me what I need to use as a trader to base my trades on something logical and predictive, because Fibonacci's are very predictive. I mean, why do you think NC Dave uses them? That's why he had the same target, very close to the same target I had. Yeah. And Big Wave had it too, Big Wave had it overlaid with a chart pattern. He used, let me show this real quick. He was also looking at this line here, this trend here. He had drawn out. Okay, notice where that trend line, very close to where we were at the time.
Yeah.
Prior to this candle actually getting up here.
Actually, if you draw that line on those wicks, it might line up exactly with the other wick.
Yeah, but the point is that he's using the body of the candles. The
closing, where it closes. Yeah, I know.
Which is what I used.
Right.
But prior to this, he was looking at these three candles and he was saying, okay, well, this is a trend line up here. I have these Fibonacci's.
Yep.
Same thing I was doing. The possibility we roll over. Actually, he was using, I believe, this as a pullback level. Okay.
Okay.
And the fibs were drawn a little bit differently. He was using the fibs here, I believe, and he was looking at the 1618. 168 extension. So you can see that this closing price here was very close to where he had this trend line, and he knew this prior to going into this, that's where he would be going short, or taking profits or whatever. So it's not like he was guessing where he thought things would go. He would take this off and he'd wait to see what happens later, which is the way to really, I personally think that's the way to trade. Instead of trying to guess what the market's going to do, use predictive measures like trend lines and patterns and Fibonacci's.
A lot of times all this stuff lines up. You find out it all lines up at the same point, And until you look at that particular time frame, you may not notice that. And then when you get multiple indicators all making sense at one area, then you can put your bets on that. It's going to work.
I'm going to mute you for 1 second.
Sure.
RPM, I want to talk to my wife.
Sure. So if you guys are just joining us again, we've got Cousin Vinny on here with us. Day Trading Radio's Cousin Vinny from the premium chat room. If you guys on the outside there or listening in and been long-term listeners or just listening for the first time, we do these every week, or try to do them every week, some sort of spotlight where we focus on one particular trader and their way of trading, their skills and style. And of course, we have other nighttime shows as well. On Wednesday night now, we have on Wednesdays we have Rainmakers Roundtable, where it's more of a group show, and sometimes the trader spotlights are group shows as well. But we're trying to focus specifically on one trader now, and but I think you'll find a lot of value if you take the 2-week free trial, and you'll see what the main site is about internally. As well as the chat room during the day, and you'll get to chat with, and also watch traders like Cousin Vinny trade right in the chat room and post his trades and post his thoughts, as well as see the trades that DayTraderRockStar is posting and making during the trading day. So give us a try. It's a 2-week free trial. Again, it's DayTradingRadio.com if you guys are watching it on a recorded YouTube playback archive any other day other than this Thursday, October 27, of course. But give us a try. Yep, sure. And give us a try and come in and say hello. And no obligation if you don't like it after 2 weeks, and you can just maybe just hang out on the outside and continue to watch. So everything good, Cousin Vinny?
Here you go, roller coaster. Here you go. Is this what you're talking about?
Cousin Vinny posting stuff right in the chat room there. Yeah.
Okay, so where are we?
That's the same chart. Yeah.
Well, Sonny was saying that it's fascinating how fib lines line up with resistance support. Yep. When you look left on the charts. No kidding.
And the resistance and support is there because the fib was there at one point, and that's what the traders and the machines used, was the fib, and that's why.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's why this is why patterns work the way they do. I mean, they're all working together, really, when you think about it. They're based on the Fibonacci's. They're based on trend lines. They're based on price action. The thing about fibs that's different about moving averages is that they're predictive in the future in terms of what a target can be versus a moving average, which is a lagging indicator.
Yep.
That's a key thing to think about.
Right.
I might not be 100% correct on that, but the point is that I know this 127 is up here.
Yeah.
It's a possibility that it could get there.
Now,
the fact that other people are looking at it makes it even more important.
Yeah, I would say that the other indicator that would be something that you can leave on the chart for a while and it always remains is like when you have a trend line. The trend line extends on out. You may not be anywhere near it, but at some point in time you may get up there to it, and you may find it as a fib that's getting ready to intersect with it, or a trend line is like that, where you said like the moving average that moves along with it, and it's a lagging deal. So I think that's one of the reasons why DayTraderRockStar's trend lines that he draws on there sometimes come into play as important areas over and over again. I mean, why not with a channel? Shows,
just like Johnny shows, Big Wave had this. I mean, this is kind of a tight pattern to draw a trend line off of, but it was there already for him.
It worked.
And as he traded it, things started to work, and lo and behold, we met it today.
Yep.
Did we blow through it? I mean, we had a lot of momentum today. I mean, it's always possible. But I'm looking for any hesitation or any indication that price will either go up or back down or go sideways. So,
Gas in
Coder.
the room said just a minute ago, he said 2-year...
Gas says a lot of things.
Yeah, he does.
He's a good guy.
Just kidding. He said there's a 2-year channel on the ES is still holding up. Said
probably so. I mean, there's probably one on the SPX too, since it's based on the same thing.
Gas, do you have a link or chart on the 2 hour chart? A 2 hour chart on for 2 years? Is that what you were talking about, Gas? Did you say 2 years? 2 year, 2 hours. Did you say 2 years or two?
What do you say? A channel?
Yeah, he was talking about a channel, saying the channel's still intact. I'm
Depends on how
assuming.
he's looking at this.
Yeah, I'm assuming he's talking about a. 2 hours on the 1 minute chart.
Oh, 2 hours.
How did I misread that?
2 hours on the 1 minute
yeah,
chart.
yeah, that's what he said. ES channel intact for the last 2 hours. Okay, I'm
okay.
sorry, Gas. I completely read that wrong, man. I've been in the gas chamber too long.
Burp? Who burped?
It was him.
So, anyway, anybody have any questions? Where are we? It's early. It's only 10:35.
Yeah, we've been at it for about an hour.
So, let me go to. Let's talk about one of my favorite trades to date and why I continue to go with this, even though people in the room were telling me I should do otherwise. I'm not saying who, but I respect a trader. This is what I was seeing. Okay, this is FCX. Copper obviously took a huge hit, right? Let me go to stock charts for a second.
What's your opinion
Okay.
on QE3? Think we're going to have it?
I think the Operation Twist is supposed to do something to affect a positive outcome. I think you're starting to see, unrelated, but I think you're starting to see housing starting to do something good, although I keep hearing mixed reviews as far as, new home sales,
Yeah.
existing home sales, inventory going down, less defaults, less foreclosures. I don't know. I might be imagining things, but it seems like things are starting to get better. But we'll see. And there's enough people that are saying that they're scared, scared stiff that, I'm of the contrarian, thinking that once things like not Jesse Livermore, but the other great trader, I forget his name, but he said, when there's blood in the street, basically, that's when you want to be buying. Well, we've been doing that the last month or so. We got murdered here on this move down, but the sideways range that we were in actually afforded some good trading. Spiders and SDS, both long and short opportunities there on a longer time frame. Days, not hours. So yes, well, no, it depends on the area, I guess. Around New Jersey, things are starting to get a little bit better. Out west in California, I know that took a big hit. Las Vegas, depends on where you are, I guess. So, but generally speaking, it feels like things are getting better. We'll see what consumer sentiment is like. Is that tomorrow? Consumer sentiment, or is it next week? I don't know.
Somebody knows. Yeah.
Somebody in the room probably knows. I mean, what happened to Cash Guy, whatever his name was?
Money Changer?
Money Changer. What happened to him? He's in a break or something?
Yeah, he hadn't been in the chat room in a while, but he has been on the site.
Learjet's funny. How many handles we capped down tomorrow? I don't know. I can't think.
Yeah.
I refuse to think.
Today scared me.
Mm-hmm.
I woke up today and I was like, and not there was I wasn't in any, I don't have any stocks. I wasn't long or short or anything, but it was just, I just felt disoriented, like somebody just picked me up, put me in a black plastic bag, and dropped me off in another state, and I don't have an idea where I was, man. I busted out of the bag, and I'm like, what the hell? That was up
Let me
300
speak to
points,
that.
you know?
Let me speak to that because that's exactly why doing your homework the night before, even if it's 10, 15 minutes, just to get your bearings on what happened during the day,
Yeah.
like today, and what's likely to happen tomorrow. So you won't be disoriented. Of course, you have a business to run.
Yeah.
Besides day trading radio, and but the point is I was prepared for today. And going into tonight, last night, I thought to myself, well, I'm positioned well if we get good news, and I'm positioned well if we go down. I actually had like a straddle on the SDS, so I had that working for me. I had Amazon calls, which I got out basically flat when Johnny started talking today. At the end of the day, and I had a bunch of longs that did really well, which is why I have FCX on the screen. Let's talk about that for a minute. So I wasn't disoriented at all on this one. What I saw prior to today is this left shoulder here, this gap down, which basically was news out of China that there was so much inventory of copper and a bunch of other stuff about copper. The Aussie dollar was getting hit, which if you, in the commodities, you want to follow the AUD US dollar cross. When this is moving up, it's good for commodities.
There's Epic in the room saying Friday, Universal Michigan's Consumer Sentiment Index will be tomorrow.
Yeah, I thought it was tomorrow. Kinko was mentioning it yesterday.
Thanks, Eric.
Or today during the whatever. I remember him saying something about it. So the US dollar is 106. Remember when it hit parity and they were making such a big deal out of it on Benziga? It was this day right here, this candle.
Yeah, it wasn't that long ago, was it?
Yeah. So when I heard that, when I saw this bottom in the AUD USD, we started moving up these three candles. That's when I started laying out some Fibonacci's on the AUD. And at the time, I was basing it off of this pivot right here. Actually, you know what? It's reversed. I would need to do it. Let me go this way. Because this reflects on the FCX trade. I was looking at this pivot, and when this pivot came in, I had my fib lines. Let me zoom in a little bit. I had this pivot right here, and I had this one here. Also had Bollinger Bands, which told me the rule is with Bollinger Bands typically is when you have a flat 200 MA, you see that, the red line? One of the rules of Bollinger Bands is you trade the upper and lower Bollinger Bands. So I was already ready. You see these ticks here? The other rule is you play the upper and lower Bollinger Bands for sure, but what you want is a close above this lower candle right here.
To indicate the change in direction.
Right. So this was close enough. This got me my pivot. That's where I drew my fibs. And although I'm like one candle behind, if you drew in a trend line down here like Johnny does, right, to show a descending channel where we're breaking to the upside, I had this fib, and I had my targets, the 618, and I had the 100% right here. Before these candles even came into view, I had this situation right here. All right, so I knew the 618 was right here at the 1 level, and I knew that we could move higher. And I did this on multiple positions on different currencies, but I knew that I didn't know. I postulated that with the fibs we could see an up move, and I could see a move at least 4 to 6 cents in the future. So I went back to my copper chart at that time, this low candle right here, and I said, okay, what's the upside? Well, I looked at this as a left shoulder, this is a head, and I looked at the possibility of a right shoulder coming in. So if I go to FCX, if you're following along, I saw this shoulder, this pivot, which was the same with the USD, or excuse me, the Aussie dollar, and I looked at this as a head and shoulders. I also looked at, zooming out a little bit, I looked at this gap in the volume at price, that if we got above this level, we could very quickly get up to the 100 period, which is this white line here, and the 50 period. So we zoom right through that, and you can also see the moving averages moving up. So I was positioned this morning ready for this move up, and we got it. So I was long, I think KJ knows this, I was long up in here somewhere, FCX, and I held on to this. And I got out a couple of times and got back in when we looked like we were going to put in this right shoulder, and then we took off to the races the last few days, last week. So that was FCX. What else were we trading in the room? There were some good trades. What's the one? Acor? Is it Acor? What is a trade that Johnny's been posting in the room? My mind just went blank.
Is it one he's in?
Arco. That's it.
Arco. Yep, that's it.
Arco. All right. Notice I already have fibs on here. All right. So let me get rid of this. Arco. This chart is looking better and better.
I love this free stock charts, man. This thing is the best thing since sliced bread. I like how you can just paste links back and forth between people, and all your drawings and setups are there.
Yeah, that's the thing. You do this chart, you go up to tools and create hyperlink. All right.
Yep.
This will actually create a hyperlink
that has all the settings embedded in it.
Room, like that, you can go right to my chart.
Right.
If I put in trend lines here.
So all those settings and everything are basically embedded in the code inside the link.
Right. You'll get the daily, and you'll just have to change the rest of them.
Yeah.
So you can see we got. I don't know if he was posting it as a right here. It was a channel, right?
Does this thing? Do they? Sorry to interrupt, but while we're on free stock charts, do they have a version that's real time, like during the? You know,
yeah, sure. See this right over here? It says click to turn off ads.
Yeah.
On the right side.
Do they have ES feed and all that work too during the day? During the evening and everything?
I don't know if ES works on this. Does somebody know? Does anybody use ES on stock charts? I've never.
Man, I absolutely love the way that thing looks, man. I mean, I just love it. It almost looks like, what we use, on Quote Tracker, like Johnny uses, and, and the shaded Bollinger Bands are cool. It does.
So I'm looking at these green candles here. This one. I don't know if this is what Johnny was looking at, but this is what I see. This one, this head right here, and the possibility of this being a shoulder when he got into it. I forget if he got in back here the last time and rode this up. I think that's where we got in. I knew I played this for a couple of points. Anyway, but we're holding off the lower trend line here, and stochastics is over, so it looks like this thing could get going and possibly break out of this channel. So a lot of times I'll revisit Johnny's trades after a channel has built and we're in it for a month or so, and I'll trade this bullish divergence where price is held off of this lower trend line and stochastics turns, and play this to the upside as a breakout play. So I'll probably look at Arco next week. I won't be looking at it tomorrow because tomorrow's probably a day I'll be taking a little bit of rest and take the last quarter of a few positions I have, take those off. So what was another good trade that we had? CCJ, I think, was another one. Yeah, I took a few on this one. This was a classic Bollinger Band squeeze. You see that?
Mm-hmm.
You see, I mean, this took forever.
Yep.
But it did give it to us.
Mm-hmm. And that Bollinger Band squeeze should also possibly be in an area where you have that sideways volume indicator. Should indicate some heavy volume there too, right?
Right.
Since it indicates that the stock spent a lot of time there, support resistance area.
The volume at price, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. The other thing about trading options, if you haven't been with us before, as far as talking about this. A lot of times I'll trade options and I'll wait until stochastics on the 30-minute gets down into this level here. I might even wait until the 15-minute gives me the same signal.
Do you use the 30-minute chart a lot?
Yes, I do. And then I'll go back to the 5-minute for an entry. But I'll look for this condition as we're coming down the slope with the stochastics. I'll be starting to set up my trades in my mind or have them in my notebook and be ready for a crossover to the upside, because if you can catch this Bollinger Band squeeze and the stochastics turn to the upside, you can make a really fast buck on options using this one technique right here. I use this a lot, actually. So, especially, again, you have to know what kind of market you're in. We're in markets where we see huge swings in stocks, that aren't normally high beta, that can swing 2-3 points or more very quickly. Look at what happened to Amazon today. That thing ran up, what was it, 10 points today. It almost went up 11 off the low. So that was a nice run. Again, I got out of that flat. What else? Apple. We've been playing that one. Not necessarily Johnny, but other people have been playing this in the room. I'm currently not looking at this one, only because I get tired after a while. You get fatigued trading these things, and you just need to step away from them. You don't need to trade them every day, make money every day, unless you're an ES junkie and you have to trade 8,000 trades a day.
You see him call. Did you see
He's
him?
good though.
You see him call it 82 short. That was the very first real pullback we had today.
Yeah. I did see that.
It was insane,
actually.
man. It was like market hadn't pulled back more than 2 points in like 4 hours, and he called it. Man, it was. I don't know where he gets them from.
Joe, as I was saying before, right now I'm positioning myself to take the last trades off. I'm looking more towards a short on the spiders. If Doug Cass goes long, I'll be going short, basically. I say that in jest, but lately he's been exactly the opposite. It seems like he'll go short and the market will go against him like a couple hours later, and it's just funny to watch. I follow him on Twitter too. If you don't have TweetDeck, I'll mention this again for those of you who hasn't heard me talk about this, but this is a really cool feature. I'm starting to get to understand it a little bit better every day that I use it, but basically you have all the people that you follow in one column. It's going to come up here in a second. Give me a second.
I'm still looking at your Ninja Trader.
Yeah, this is a cool thing for something free, in the day, data only. Alright. TweetDeck's loading up.
What do you use to actually execute your trades?
Options Express.
So
they're a little expensive.
Okay.
But, I usually trade in size, so if I trade 10 and 20 calls, $15.95 or $14.95 in and $14.95 out doesn't really hurt me that much. Yeah, it's a lot, but there's a lot of good features about Options Express.
They have their own platform that you're entering your trades and all in. You're not using like Ninja Trader or something to it, right?
Yeah. So this is TweetDeck, which is really cool. You can add columns, which say you want to follow a particular trader. Anyway, I won't spend a whole lot of time on this. Just get TweetDeck. Take my advice. I think it's a really great tool because you can follow 20 pairs of eyes or 10 pairs of eyes that are really good at what they do. Good traders that might alert you to something that you're completely unaware of. This right here, the top one, this is Top Step. Okay. Delta Strike, you remember him, Delta Strike JJ, he's somebody I follow. He does a lot of commodities, corn, beans, futures, and Forex. And I'll just keep an eye on things because occasionally he'll mention something, copper or whatever, since I was in the FCX trade. And so on. So, and I may take those traders off every once in a while or mute them if I'm not trading a particular position. Like a couple of people that I follow are very heavy spider traders, so they're really good to watch. And a lot of times they'll come out with a long trade just before cash goes short, which I always find amusing. Professional traders. Anyway, that's TweetDeck. I find it a very valuable tool. Benziga news comes up on this, and also Wall Street Journal, and a few others that I follow. But mostly it's traders that I get into, that I follow. So let's see. That's my Twitter handle in the room. Note the Z, not an S.
Somebody get the other one.
Yeah, but
Bastards.
They have me listed as Cousin Vinny now too, both of them. But it's at Cousin Vinny because that's what I have now. So, Learjet, you're always got something to say, good or bad, right?
He's in a kind of a weird mood today.
That's all right. He made a lot of money. So.
Chemical attacks on my house the other day. Did you see that? Showed up in a crop duster, man.
Did he really?
Yeah, I videoed it. It's on my YouTube channel.
No kidding. Yeah. Did you really? Jet? You're messing around, right? Yeah, okay.
Yeah, it was pretty crazy, though. I videoed it. Plane coming straight at my house. Like
you know what I forgot to mention? Let's look at the weekly on the ES, because I do this too. Okay. Every day I'll do this. See how the closing candles affect my trading decisions. Okay, here's the weekly. Mm-hmm. And notice where we are. Okay. If we close somewhere around here on this weekly candle, we can effectively put this trend line here. Okay. If we move up, obviously, we'll have a different situation. But I always look at the weekly too. I'll go out to the monthly. Notice the RSI was moving straight up, and even though we had this huge candle today, notice that the RSI starting to move sideways, or is not on the same trajectory. Now that's minutia, granted, but if you look at previous occurrences where we were moving up, and we had that sideways move, we turned down. I'm not saying we're going to turn down. I'm just saying that it appears that we could get some hesitation. I'm not thinking what I think. I'm not saying what I think the market's going to do. Again, I'm looking at what the indicators are telling me.
Yeah.
And preparing for tomorrow so that I'm not disoriented when the market opens and we bang 20 handles lower, as Learjet's hoping for.
I have a question.
Mm-hmm. Go ahead.
You see how back to the left a little ways
Here?
there, but yep, back in that area. You see how we had these massive runs back then, right? I mean, it was almost pop a chalk line. The market's going up. These are weeklies, right?
Yes. Uh-huh.
Such a bull run. Notice though that the candles are smaller. It's just slower gains. It didn't go as fast.
That's because we're in a bear market.
Yeah, okay.
Typically in a bear market, you have larger candle ranges.
Larger ranges, and that's what I keep going back to, man. It's like these tiny little steps up, and then a wham-a-lam, and then it's just back. I mean, this thing's just really, it's just erratic and crazy, and it doesn't that mean we're in a bear market?
Well, okay, here we go. Typically we're either in a consolidation or we're in a trending market. Right now, we're starting to trend, but we were in a consolidation range right here. Okay, over here we were trending. So you could have traded, spiders long, taken a month out, 2 months out, and bought out of the money and did quite well.
Yeah.
Or done whatever type of strategy you wanted to do. Spreads, calendar spreads, whatever. So I typically only trade spreads. Sometimes I'll do calendars. Sometimes I'll do straddles. Straddles I typically do for earnings. I may do strangles, where you have out of the money in either direction. Like Amazon, I believe I sold the 140 calls for a decent credit. I bought earlier in the day. I bought the 140s at the end of the day, or excuse me, I sold them at the end of the day for some premium, because I bought the calls, the 120s, earlier in the day for like $9.60, and we all know what happened to that trade. But I also bought out of the money puts, the 100s, like almost the same time that I sold the 140s, and that was on a trade that I saw on TweetDeck. And I said, you know what, that's not a bad trade, actually. You can't always have all your ducks in a row. So I bought the 100s, and we all know that those went from $2.50 to $22.50 the next day. You can do the math. Per call. That was, a nice chunk of change. So
yeah, you only wish you had 10,000 times more.
I had a nice amount of them. I'm not going to brag or boast, but it was a good trade. It sure could have gone against me, but actually worked out quite well. So what was I getting at? So I trade strangles on earnings usually. When I see something that the market's pricing in, say, I think Amazon was an 8% move, or was it a 13%? I think it was a 13% move. So I looked at it and said, you know what, this could possibly move outside of that 13% range. So that's why I did purchased those puts and sold those calls. I didn't think we could get up to, what was it, 140? What was it? What's Amazon at? My mind's blank right now. I'm tired. It was the 240s, right?
Let's see.
I guess I would just look at the chart.
Yeah, you just type in the chat room, bot AMZ. Quote. $206.78.
Yeah, what the hell did I sell? No, it's irrelevant. It was a good trade. TweetDeck is free. Yes, Coder, it is. And it's a very good tool. If you're not using it, or some sort of, I wouldn't even use anything but TweetDeck, but I think it's a great tool, because literally, you have the chat room, right? And if somebody sends you a PM message, you get a little audible alert. Well, with TweetDeck, whenever you get a new message in, a new tweet, you get an audible alert, which is really good. It'll, it pops up on your screen. You can either look at it or not. Depends on what you want to do with it. But the people that I follow, the news feeds that I follow, are very pertinent to what I trade. So I look at everything that comes up, because a lot of times I'm working, I'm not paying attention to the charts. I'll look over at the chat or the tweet messages that come in, and I already know what my positions are during the day, so I'm not really worried about what's going to happen to the spiders intraday per se, unless we get a sell-off and I see Benziga come out with some alert that the market's going to crash, type of thing. So again, that's why I trade with the ES on a longer time frame, so I can not have to worry about the intraday fluctuations in the market. Because if, like Johnny says, if you watch the spiders on a 1 minute or 5 minute, it'll drive you crazy. If you get into a trade and it backs against you, 15, 20 cents, you start to freak out as a new trader, saying, "Oh shit, it's going against me." That's two curses. How many do I get? 3 RPM?
What's that?
I cursed twice. Oh, you didn't hear that one, so it doesn't count.
No, keep going. You can reset. Keep going. I didn't hear it.
Okay, cool. So anyway, that's why I trade longer term. The ES would drive me absolutely bonkers, because all I'd need is for somebody to walk in and say, you know what, you need to go into a meeting right now, like what happened today. And I didn't have to freak out because I knew, you know. Learjet, you're a funny guy. Oh boy.
Getting tired, or you want to keep going?
Yeah, I'm fine. Any charts that one wants me to look at? Newbies? I know you old bees are okay. You know what you're doing. So you don't need my 2 cents.
The futures are at 1278. Seem to recall around that 1277 area was some significance. But
Yeah, what is it?
1278 right now.
Wait a minute.
We hit 1277 3/4, I think. Back a few minutes ago.
Well, we really don't have any levels here. I mean, we've really done some major damage to the shorts. You know, we got this level down here at 1253, 1254.
You want to take a call?
I don't see us getting down there.
Somebody just hung up. I was going to take that call.
Let's see. We have 1254. There's nothing on here on a weekly. Let's go back to the daily.
Why was I thinking 1277? Anybody know? I think someone else might have mentioned it too. Oh man, I just closed my chat room. There we go.
Yeah, 236 is 1236, so that's down below. That's like down below the 200. I don't see that happening, but you never know what's going to happen tomorrow.
What's that?
I'm just looking at the ES currently and what the Ninja chart targets that I'll have for tomorrow.
1277 was
IR? You want to look at IR SACMAN? Okay, sure. Let's look at it.
We just touched it.
All right. Yeah, Ingersoll Rand. We've been looking at it.
Hey, I'm going to take this call.
Sure, go ahead. This is a good example of volume at price.
Hello.
Hey, what's up, Mark?
Hey, how's everything? Good?
Yeah, good. What you up to?
I did okay on some swings. I'm still trouble with the ES, man. I lost 1.25 points on an ES trade today.
Well, congratulations. I know people that lost 20.
Well, it's better than losing 2 points, right?
Yeah, that's right, man. That's right. And so you had some long swings from yesterday.
Yeah, I took CN with day trader. I took PG. I got out of because it tied up a lot of money. But if I would have held it, I would have done okay. I took a loss on PG, but it's not the end of the world. I took MT. I held that for a while, and I just blew it out. People still I have to remind it to take profits. I feel like things are going to go higher, but you got to take the money and you're right and run.
Oh yeah.
So you never know the future, right?
You don't even know if we're going to have one.
I mean, I always feel like it's going to go higher and it's going to go higher. So I have a problem with. I think. Do you ever get over the fact that you take profits and it won't go high? I mean,
it goes higher.
Is there always? Yeah, I mean, is there always going to be that kind of fight in your head forever?
Yeah, it's I've only been trading for about 3 years, and that was, it's still a problem for me. I sell something with profit, I feel like I'm happy, I want to do jumping jacks, and then next thing I know, my jumping jacks turn into, oh crap, and there it goes, like right when I sell it, it takes off, Yeah. The only thing I could say to that is you cannot apply what just happened to you in that trade to your next trade. You can't go saying to yourself, okay, next time I'm going to hold it longer because I know it's going to go higher. You got to look at each trade individually. You got to look at the technicals, and there's got to be technical reasons for you to enter the trade, technical reasons for you to get out of the trade, whether it be to sell with profit or to get out with a stop.
It's profit. It's profit.
Yeah. Don't you agree, Cousin Vinny?
Yeah, profit's good.
Hey,
Uh,
Smitty, how are you?
Oh, good, Mark. How you doing?
Good. Hoboken, New Jersey.
Uh,
Hoboken.
Hoboken. Cool. Yeah, I'm on the other
I'm
side
in
of New Jersey.
Hoboken.
I tell you, on a day like today, if you didn't take profits, there's something the matter with you.
I grab
Yeah.
profits.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, you have
I
to take
freed up
profits.
cash. I talked to your cousin Vinny about that PG. I mean, eventually it went up, but I'm tying so much money up in the PG that it could open myself up for other different stocks. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You
Let's
never
I
go
see.
mean, it's a
broke.
safe stock. It's a great stock. You're not gonna, go to the woodshed on a PG. But if I can buy, three different stocks with shots at making better, swings, why tie that money up? You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
You'll never go broke taking profits. That's what Johnny says all the time. It's so true.
Well,
Somebody was asking
my
about Ingersoll Rand in the room. Just want to point out that ADX is moving lower, which tends to mean that you're going to be in a sideways consolidation.
Hey guys,
Just
I'll be
by
right back. Good.
the
Carry
way
on.
the
I'll be right
ADX
back.
is designed. So, not saying that's going to happen, but it's a possibility. And we're getting into overbought territory. But look at all this volume here. Looks pretty good. So,
is this a stock or the what are you looking at here? I
Ingersoll
just
Rand.
oh,
What are you trading,
okay.
Mark? PG.
What am I? Yeah, I got out of PG. I took a small loss, but I was holding so much money in that I just figured move on. I'll be all right. I made
You
plenty.
see,
I
this is
mean, I
what I
made.
look at. This chart here. You see the volume and price here is starting to loosen up a little bit. I would tend to
What
hold
stock
on
is this?
to it.
PG.
PG. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Um,
I may have jumped out. So where are we looking at volume on the bottom here?
yeah. Again, the ADX is down to 10.15, so it's going to be a slow mover. Looks like, but it's a
Where's
safe stock.
where's
Go ahead.
ES now? Where's ES now?
ES.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah, it's like 12.75, 12.77
So what do you think is going to happen? Are we going to
tomorrow.
have a pullback? Yeah.
I don't
Oh,
think. I'm just trading what it shows me. It could go either way. We could go up, gap up in the morning, or gap down, or could consolidate. Being it's a Friday, I don't anticipate a lot's going to happen unless it's news driven. We
do
could
you
see some
trade?
momentum
Right.
follow through. Go ahead.
Or we could see profit taken, right?
Now, I think we saw that in the day today. If you look at the daily candle, we saw that at the end of the day. So not
So
a
we're
lot.
probably gonna run,
I mean,
maybe.
it's anybody's guess.
Show me this. This is the green candle you're looking at.
Yep. You see the wick at the top?
Yep. What does
Obviously,
that
it'd have
mean?
been much worse had we closed way back down, towards the open. But such is not the case. So, I mean, the momentum could carry us higher, but I just don't see how it's going to happen.
So we started at the bottom line and we ended at the medium line, and the wick. They were still trading at the wick, but they pulled back, right? The profit taking is the wick, right?
Yeah, we traded up to 12.88 and some change, I think.
Right.
And then we backed off of that towards the end of the day. Yep. So 12.89.25 was the high. That was like 3 o'clock, right?
Look at that volume too, cousin Vinny.
Yeah.
That red volume there.
Yeah, that's profit taking for sure.
Yep.
But we didn't drop down that far. We came right back down to what's that, the 20 or the 50.
So my thing is, I'm in good shape with that P&G trade. I can do a day trader list on Monday, or I can pick my own stocks on Monday. You know what I'm saying? I have cash for his 10 for 1,000, or I can do my own thing, or maybe we'll be going short. Who knows? Let's see where we go. You know what I'm saying?
Well,
I think we get rid of a lot of this. A lot of these gains we made today, I think we give some of that back tomorrow.
But, my inclination would be that's going to be the case. I keep leaning towards we're going to see people come in, start the trading day, and watch what the overnight session gave us, which is really not telling us much. And it's going to be a Friday, typical Friday.
Yeah.
You know,
It's choppy Friday.
or not much movement. Although Fridays lately have been kind of crazy. I don't know. I don't even know what to say.
Yep. We're gonna
Hey,
find out.
Yep.
Sorry, cousin Minnie, do you trade the ES?
Now, I used to. Occasionally, I'll, dip my toes in, but I just don't have the time to sit there and watch these trades like you guys do. Plus, I just don't have the inclination. I mean, I'd rather take 10 calls on the SPY and make a good return on a daily basis or a scalp basis in terms of my targets getting hit intraday, or swing it, with the comfort knowing that the fibs are there, and that not a whole lot could happen except for some bad news out of Greece or whatever. So I'm usually not that large in my positions that it's going to hurt that much compared to the size of my account. So it's all good.
Yeah.
I'm getting a little tired.
Yeah, I think we're about ready to wrap this up. So
Yeah.
So Mark,
Sure.
don't never apologize for taking profits.
No,
Yeah.
never.
And a point and a half is nothing on a loss on the ES.
Point and a quarter.
Point and a quarter. That's even better. So don't worry about it.
Yeah, and you don't have to take every trade that comes out on the 10 per thousand. It's just a list of stocks that you can take. I look at the best one in the best pattern and look at the sector that's trading on a Monday. See what's working. Look at my ES, and I trade with the ES, not against it. So if we've got a stock like I don't know, whatever stock we were looking at today, where we had strength and the ES was moving down, or that's another one. That's one I want to cover real quick. Let me pull this up real quick because I know a couple people got into this. The ES was moving up like crazy, and Dr. Pepper was still moving lower.
Mm-hmm.
Momentum was still to the downside. RSI was moving down. RSI didn't show any indication today at the top up here.
What are we looking at, fellas?
Dr. Pepper.
Dr. Pepper.
Oh.
When Johnny says in the room, this always wakes me up. The market's moving up. Let's look at the floaters. Let's look at the who's got strength or who's weak.
Mm-hmm.
I went to FinViz.
Looked at the bubbles.
Look at the bubbles.
That's what I did.
And very quickly, you see.
How do you view the bubbles at FinViz?
You'll see. I'm going to show you right now.
You can just search FinViz bubbles on Google, and it'll give you a link to it as
You
well.
do that too.
Hey, who's going to Vegas? Who's going to Vegas?
I don't know if
I'm going to Vegas. I got the tickets. I got to Vegas.
Jesus. Okay, there's the bubbles right here on the top of your screen, above the.
Where's the bubbles?
Red. You see it right up here.
There's about a 10-second delay too. So from
Right up
Okay,
here
that's
on top.
the chart. Where's the bubbles? Oh, the
Bubbles,
bubbles.
right.
Oh, there you go. I got it. Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
So when Johnny says what's strong and what's weak, you listen up, right?
this
For
will
the day.
yeah, or this will tell you. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
good.
So then I
indicator.
just look at this and see Dr. Pepper right there, and it gives you a chart.
Mhm.
You just mouse over it, and prior to this morning, this chart was I forget it was up. Is this pulling up the chart or what? Let me pull it up.
And Waldo,
You know what?
I was going to just answer Waldo. They're not real time, but I think they're 15-minute. They have to compile them in on the site, on the FinViz site. I think it's 15-minute delay or something like that, I think.
Yeah, the point is that when Johnny mentioned it, DPS was sitting right on this trend line, just
Mhm.
below it.
Yep.
I said, "Oh boy!" And I said this down move had something to do with earnings. Then I looked at the short float, which is only 1.6%. So there's not going to be any covering here.
Nope.
Not much.
More shorts dumped on it.
Right. So then I started looking at the shorter time frames. Okay. I'll just go through the scenario that I always go through. EPS. And my free stock charts is not responding. Let's see if I can get them over here. Nope. Anyway, let me go to a shorter time frame. 15 minutes. So here's today over here. You can see that you've got all these descending moving averages, which you would expect on a move down like that. So right around the time he mentioned it in the morning was right around this, the 37 level, I believe, 36, something like that.
What number chart is what's this chart? What period chart is this?
This is
daily?
15 minute. 15 minute.
Okay. Right.
Okay. So this right here is today. So I was looking at these moving averages as resistance, and the first time, what kept me in the trade is the first time we came up and touched this, the market was moving so much faster, much higher. We hit this and we got rejected. That told me that we're probably going to continue to see weakness. We came back up, we hit the upper Bollinger Band, and we continued. We came back down lower. So we got all this volume at the end of the day. So I'm still in this short, and that's the reason why I got into it. I'll go out to the 60 minute.
What charts what time periods do you like? 30, 15, or all of them, or what?
Depends. If I'm scalping, I'll go very short, 5 minute. If I'm swinging it, I'll usually look at the 30 minute first, and then go
like
to the daily. You know, but you can see on the very clearly on the 60 minute, this short-term period moving average right here, the purple line, is keeping price below it. So you have all this volume up here that's acting as resistance. So I don't see this making it back up anytime soon. Could be wrong, but Dr. Pepper's short as of today. So anywho, listen, RPM.
What do you like for tomorrow? Quickly,
what's that?
Cousin Vinny, you eyeing anything short or long for tomorrow?
I have the
Dr.
SDS. I have the SDS calls, which I'm already in.
So you're looking long on SDS?
Excuse me.
Vinny, you're looking for long. You're looking for SDS to go up.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
All right. So you're looking for a pullback in the market, generally, yes.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So you're looking for SDS. You're looking long on SDS, and you're looking at Dr. Pepper going continue to crumble.
Yep. Basically. Uh-huh.
Can you scalp that, Dr. Pepper? Is that a good scalp for tomorrow? In and out.
Let's look at it again.
Are you going to scalp the SDS calls?
I'm already in the SDS. I'm in from a little bit lower level. Let's see. Scalp it? Well, what I do note here is on a daily, you see the Bollinger Band just starting to tick up and down? You see that?
Yeah.
A little bit. Yeah, okay. Bollinger Bands are telling me that it's a possibility that this is going to continue lower. When you look at all the time frames, that confirms what I was mentioning is that...
Do you have stochastics on there too, Cousin Vinny? At the bottom, right?
Yeah. You know, actually, we're embedded down here.
Yeah. What did the other time frame look like, though? What did stochastics look like on the other time frame?
On the daily?
Yeah, just curious.
I'm pretty sure it's embedded because we had a gap down. Earnings. Well, no, you see, that's a good point.
Yeah, we got
Thank you for bringing that up because I actually looked at this earlier. We got the MACD cross down. We got stochastics still has room to move lower.
Yeah.
Okay. And my fibs that I drew on. Let's see if I got it. Here we go. Here's the fibs. I already had these drawn up from earlier. Today. I'm looking at the 127.
It's bad.
See the 127 right here? 127 is right down here. That's what I'm shooting for. That's why I took
that's
the
a magnet
35s.
right there.
And Bollinger Bands. Look at the Bollinger Bands. You know, Bollinger Bands are spreading.
Yeah.
35 is right. I mean, the 127 is right here. Now we got to get through the 100%, which is this low right here.
Yeah.
Okay. But stochastics has got room to move lower. The 60-minute is showing me embedded. MACD is starting to, bottom, but
Yeah.
the daily's still got momentum. Could still see some downside, and the 7-day rule works in effect here as well. So 7 days usually takes after earnings move down. It takes about 7 days. This is one of Johnny's rules. Not sure where he got it. It takes about 7 days for you get to the oversold territory.
So what are we looking at? Maybe 35.50, somewhere along in there for.
Looking for another point down, at least another point down. If I get a point on this tomorrow, I'm out. So to answer your question as a scalp, the only way I would scalp this is if I were you, is if we get a bounce back up tomorrow up to this one of these moving averages, probably the 50 here on the 15-minute.
Yeah.
And I would short it off of that.
Short off that as resistance.
Yeah.
So the 15-minute shorting off the 15-minute of the 50 MA.
Yep. Depending on what you want to use. The hourly could be a strong one. 20 is up here. No. I don't see us getting up
So it's bouncing off the MAs nicely, yes?
Yep. And Bollinger Bands are expanding, so I just see this going a little bit lower.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, no,
The daily's the clincher.
the RSI on the other chart too, right? Was dropping.
Mm-hmm.
Was still relatively. Yeah, it's got room to move to the downside too. It could get worse.
So were you
RSI
out at 35.50?
Will I be out at 35.50? I'll be taking half off if we're down 3/4 of a point or so. I'll take half off and, do quarters after that as it moves down. Here's another thing. You see the daily? See this big volume bar right here?
We closed at 36.65.
We get below that, we can really move down really quick.
Man, some huge selling volume poured in that thing.
Amazon?
Yeah. Yep. All right, guys, I'm going to call it a night.
All right, guys.
I'm happy that everyone was able to join us tonight. Hope a few people learned a few things, got a few tricks up their sleeves now. Maybe understands a little bit better the way I trade and why I'm posting targets in the room all day. So it's not for any other reason than I'm trying to help somebody out, on the other end, pay it forward.
I'd gotten in the SPXU right when the ES was in the 85 and a half level, I guess it was. If I had not seen your 88 target, I would have not held on to that thing and came out with profit. So I want to thank you for that. A little bit of guidance and
we should have tagged it, didn't we?
Cousin Vinny, you're looking for a down tomorrow. If you're playing SDS calls, you're looking for a pullback.
I'm anticipating that we could possibly get a move down, yes. If we move higher, I'll be taking the SDS off.
Yeah,
okay?
we might do both.
Clear with that.
You're in it now. You're in SDS now, right?
Yeah, I'm already.
Yeah.
Yep, I'm in it from a little bit lower.
So you bet today for tomorrow, right?
Yeah, small position. I mean, I basically have about a quarter position right now. Quarter position for me is like 5 calls or 5 options.
Yeah, if the market was to open right now, you'd be doing fine.
Actually, I'd be probably right around a little bit. Yeah, I'd be up a little bit.
Yeah.
There, Jeff. Where do we get in this? You remember?
Amazon.
Anyway, yes, it's fine.
Amazon. Did it miss?
Yeah, if we move lower, it'll be. But again, I feel like we'll probably trade back into today's candle. That's what I'm looking for.
Yeah.
That's all I'm looking for. If we don't get any more than that, I'm fine. I'll be out.
I would not be surprised. I was going to say I would not be surprised if we completely made a reversal candle at the same heights of that green candle, a red one. I'm telling you. And then the next day, the green one to counteract it. I mean, we've had some of that. It might happen tomorrow. So that would be some crazy trading moves, that's for sure. So let's wrap this up. Thanks again. Really appreciate it, Cousin Vinny.
Slightly out of the money SDS. I'm in the 20s, and we're at 1960 something when we closed, I believe.
Yeah.
So not too bad.
Yeah, we'll see. Good luck,
All right,
everybody,
guys.
tomorrow. Thanks again, Cousin Vinny.
Good luck tomorrow.
Thanks, Mark.
Bye,
guys.
guys.
Take care.
Thank you. I'll see you.
All right, so that wraps up Trader Spotlight Live, DayTraderRadio.com. Again, I was your host, RPM. We had Cousin Vinny on, and at the end there, of course, we had Trader Daymark from Day Trading Radio chat room. Again, Cousin Vinny, great job, great trader, been in our chat room for a long time now, giving back his trader knowledge in the room. A lot of people, again, on the outside looking in, just listening to Day Trading Radio from the outside main website, you guys, there's awful lot of great, market information for you. It's a great companion tool for practically any trader, unless you're trading soybeans or something. There's something here at DayTradingRadio.com for you. But we'd like for you to take it one step further and go ahead and join and become a premium DayTradingRadio.com member, and you get a 2-week free trial. Come on in, step into the penthouse apartments in the chat room, and get a taste of what it's really like behind the scenes as the market coverage goes on with DayTraderRockStar himself doing that broadcast like you hear and watch every day. So you get the other half of it, and we'd like to see you. We'd like to see you in here. So, and I would like to thank all the new members, the new recent members that have joined, and for those that have not joined yet or signed up, that are just watching, we appreciate your viewership and your listening as well. So I'm going to go ahead and close it on down here tonight, and we appreciate it. It's about 11:35 here, just before midnight, and tomorrow is Friday. We've got some numbers coming out, some Michigan confidence sentiment numbers tomorrow morning, I believe, and could be crazy day again, and we'll just have to wait and see for that. With that, I'm RPM, and thank you for watching, and have a good night. RPM out.